Dan Larson here, and I'm at the photo booth with relatively recent mail. I just want to clarify that the mail that I feature in the P.O. Box videos here in the booth, it's not necessarily mail that I have just received. In many cases, as is the case today, this is mail that I received quite a while ago and has just been backlogged for a bit. My apologies to anyone who thought I overlooked them, or even worse, thought that I didn't receive the items that were sent. It's just taking some time to get to it. So, to clarify, this is mail from late September and early October. Up first, JJ from Bellingham, Washington. JJ sent in the Disney Infinity Venom figure here, which, two things about this of note. One, it's cool. If my camera would focus, there we go. It's cool because I do, while I did already have this, I love this design of this Venom. I love this face so much. I love his proportions. I love everything about him. I did already have this. The one I have, I grabbed at a flea market, and it had been in a bin with a bunch of other Infinity figures. And so it's just like scratched and nicked up. I only paid $1 for it, but still, it's not in the best condition possible. So I do appreciate JJ sending this one in so I can swap out this good condition one for the bad condition one that I already had. Also, second note about this Venom, the Disney Toy Box line, exclusive to the Disney Store and disneystore.com or whatever their website address is, they have teased a Venom figure, so I'm very much looking forward to that because I love the Disney Toy Box line. I don't have all the Marvel figures. I have almost all the Star Wars figures. I think the only one I missed on the Star Wars stuff was the First Order Stormtrooper. But other than that, I have all the Star Wars figures. The Marvel ones, there's been a few that I haven't loved, but Venom looks awesome. I'm definitely going to be grabbing him. Also from JJ is the Marvel Chess Collection Spider-Ham figure, who is amazing. He's spectacular. He's out of focus. There we go. Eagle Moss, I think, is the manufacturer on this. JusticeMarvel.com, 2016. But this is a Ham figurine that I did not have. And honestly, I don't even think I know it existed. So I very much appreciate JJ sending this in to go with my other Hams. There aren't that many Hams. There's very few. We got the Marvel Legends. We've got this. There's new stuff coming out, of course, for the movie. I'm not sold on that design for that Ham yet. We'll see how it plays in context in the film. The trailers look great, and I definitely want to see the film. But there's that old collector part of me that's like, oh, I wanted to see the original version in a movie, but whatever. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. But this, it's just a great piece to add to my tiny little Ham collection of tiny Hams. Also from JJ is the Marvel Universe Death's Head over here. There we go. Death's Head figure, who I'm gonna be straight with you here. I don't know anything about him. If I had done my prep for this video, I would have looked him up. As far as I know, he's a bounty hunter. Shows up in the Transformers comics late in the game. Hunts them for bounty. That's all I know. I really, honestly, I thought he was like a UK character. Maybe came over from there. It's a branch of the comics tree I've never personally explored myself, so I don't really, honestly, know that much about him. I will say this: it's cool character design, and I don't know why they went with Death's Head 2 in the Marvel Legends wave, that Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel Legends wave that he was featured in, and then they went with the regular Death's Head for the Marvel Universe figures. That said, whether you collect Marvel Universe scale figures or not, this is a very cool figure. Comes with a bunch of, it comes with several weapons. His shield is on back there, and I think the base body is probably Colossus, but whatever. It's appropriate for Death's Head, and it's a cool figure. Also from JJ is one of the most adorable figures from any line ever, anywhere, to ever be created, is the Robot Heroes Ravage, which is just absolutely the most adorable thing in the world. I think his head his head moves. I think he came with Optimus Prime in a 2-pack back in the day, whenever those came out. And I just love that thing. I love Ravage. I love Soundwave. I love the cassettes. I love Ravage so much. And I love this treatment of him as a little black kitten kitty cat, complete with his little missiles and his Decepticon insignia there. He's just the best. I absolutely love that thing. And sticking with tiny robots, we got Tiny Zeta Gundam, who you'll have to help me out with this, or maybe JJ can weigh in. I don't know where this is from. I assume it's a tiny model kit of some sort that was assembled. Maybe it's a Gashpon thing. I don't know. But it is very detailed for the size. It is very sturdy for the size. Like, this thing is not, like, the joints are tight. I don't know if it transforms. I haven't tried to make it transform. I'm not a big fan of the transforming Gundams, I'm going to be honest. But I do like this design. And I particularly like just, man, I can't get over how sturdy this thing is. Like, the joints are tight, and he can hold his pose and stand on the shelf, and he's got his tiny gun and his shield that I think doubles as the nose for his jet mode. But like, it doesn't feel fragile, it doesn't feel delicate, and it's really, really cool, and I totally dig that, and that's going on my Gundam shelf. Just a little late to make the Gundam collection video. That was a few weeks back. Also from JJ, we have the this incredible, I gotta move some stuff out of the way for this. This amazing custom Boba Fett statue, made from, maybe some of you might recognize it already. It's made from an Adam Strange figure, statue. I don't know if this was DC Collectibles, but it's a heavily modified Adam Strange to turn it into a Boba Fett piece, and it is absolutely incredible. I don't know if his rangefinder broke off or if it was just never attached to the piece. But I love this thing. I love the custom work on it. I love the thought. It is a really, really great figure. And I believe I've said in previous videos, Adam Strange is kind of, to me, like, as far as just the look of the character, he's like a Boba Fett of the DC universe for me, because, you know, he's a space guy with a rocket pack and a gun, and he looks cool, and that's enough for me. So very cool stuff there. Thank you very much, JJ, for all of this stuff. Very thoughtful, very generous of you. Next up, we've got John Hale, aka Black Worm Boy, all one word, Black Worm Boy. On YouTube, he sent in, let me slide some of these guys out of the way here. He sent in the Masters of the Universe Classics figures, a couple of them. We've got Granita, two figures that I don't know anything about. Again, didn't do my prep for this video. And these, I like Masters of the Universe a lot. But I'll be honest, being honest, I'm saying that a lot this video, being very honest with you today. My knowledge of the later sort of characters, and especially like the New Adventures of He-Man, I just don't know that much about it. Perhaps it's time for us to go to the history of He-Man and Masters of the Universe and really dig deep on those later characters and some of those later introductions. When I opened this box, I had never heard of this character before. Dial-A-Mug. I assume it's Dial-A-Mug because his mug is dialable. I don't know anything about he's got vacuum tubes on his head. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about, and I just call this Granita. This is Krita. Krita. So John sent these in. They're, I love the classics line, so I'm looking forward to opening these two figures up. She's the evil mutant beauty, and he's the evil robot with endless expressions. So that's cool. I assume he's with the Horde there, and she's an evil mutant beauty. But I'll have to dig into these, see if I can learn more about them as far as where they fit into the whole scope and scale of Masters of the Universe. Crazy that, John, you sent in unopened classics figures. That's incredibly generous of you. But also, John also sent in these Tupper Toys animals, late 70s, early 80s, I believe. Makes sense. I had some of these as a kid, and I gotta say that Mrs. Toy Galaxy was very happy to see these. You absolutely made her day, and that was it was neat to pull these out and see her reaction, see how excited she was. It was like she had seen, she was seeing old friends again. I was familiar with them, but she was very, very excited to see those. And I will say that you made her day, and I guarantee you sent them to the exact forever home that they needed to go to. If you've never seen these things before, they're kind of like modular sort of toys, and they're hollow. They're a hard plastic, but they're hollow. And there's all kinds of parts and other animal heads and stuff. And you just kind of mix and match. And you can go with, standard animals. I don't know what this is giraffe head. Or you go with crazy weird mutants. And that's fun. And that's toys. And there you go. So, John, thank you very much for sending those items in as well. James from Austin, Texas. James also had an interesting story here. I got to slide some of this stuff out of the way. Oh, my gosh. Stand up. Pete. And this over here. Oh, my Gundam. My Gundam came apart. Put that back on his back there. There we go. James from Austin, Texas, sent in the... We've got the mint on card manga spawn and the alien resurrection figure here. Funny story is that James in his letter explained, and I'm just going to read it right from his letter here. He said, I worked at Walmart back in 92 to 94, 94 to 96, somewhere in there. It was a while back. He forgets. There were plenty of toy collectors that would come in and he got caught up in the excitement years later cleaning out the closet, and he's got a box of stuff that no one on eBay wanted. So he, in terms of his speculative abilities back then, he was a bad judge of people what people were going to be wanting 20 years later. So he figured he'd send them in to the show here, and I appreciate that. And so we've got Manga Spawn, we've got Alien Resurrection, Warrior Alien still in the box, and this one, I thought this one had a price tag on it. No price tag there. Back when Hasbro had the license. So we got Manga Spawn, Alien Spawn. We also Alien Spawn, Alien Resurrection, Warrior Alien. I've also got this is Manga Ninja Spawn, also in the box. And we've got Manga Angela, or excuse me, the Goddess. I thought that was Manga Angela. I don't know what the difference is. Wasn't there a thing where they couldn't use the Angela name anymore? And then also, we've got movie Attack Spawn in this gigantic box. And I don't know why this box is so huge when the figure really isn't that big. I will say that this was the one that had the price tag on it. $5 at Walmart. That thing, you know, I try not to be negative about anything, and this is the kind of thing where I absolutely would have been negative about this for a very long time, but it has reached the point, all of these things have reached the point now where I can look back on them and do have that sense of, you know, nostalgia, and this packaging is quaint to me now and of the era, and it's neat to see it in such good condition. Usually I see these things at like flea markets or whatever, and they are just beat. But I gotta say, it's nice. This one needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's nice to see it in its original glory. Just the visual total chaos of this whole thing, and how big McFarlane was. It was so big. It's kind of like, you know, you look at these figures now and you think about how we perceive this sort of era now with McFarlane figures, and they're just statues. They're not even action figures, but they were so big. They were the biggest thing, and it's kind of like the same reception that like Rob Liefeld comics get and his work gets. You know, it's like everybody looks back on it now and it's like, Rob Liefeld, he's terrible. But it's like you can't even explain how big and how popular this stuff was, and everybody wanted it. And I mean, he wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't so huge. And there's a lot of what's happening today that is owed to this era of McFarlane and these toys. And so it's with that sort of eye that I can really, really appreciate these things. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the second run of this because it had the kanji characters on the blade, but I might be misremembering that. Anyway, that's always been a really cool design. His head pops off and another hamburger head pops out of there, if I remember correctly. But just great stuff there. So James, this Hot Wheels action pack, commemorating the Mars rover, who I believe is still on Mars, and I think still functioning on Mars. James, thank you very much for sending all that stuff in. Very cool. Adrienne and son from Brooklyn, New York. Fans of the show, and they were out at the Brooklyn Flea and I believe they saw this one and decided to grab it, and then they went to the store and grabbed they sent in the movie Wasp figure, which is cool because I didn't have this one yet. I don't think I have a Cull Obsidian head yet. But I gotta go. I still haven't picked up the movie Ant-Man figure yet, so I need to grab that one because it's got that amazing Paul Rudd head, and plus I can't have one without the other. So hopefully I can find. I know that Walmart just clearanced out like everything, so hopefully I can find the movie Ant-Man figure there pretty cheap. I have the original Ant-Man movie Marvel Legends, but the new one is just so much better. It is such a better figure. But excuse me. Thank you very much, Adrienne and son, for sending those in. Very much appreciated there. Charles from Kathleen, Georgia, sent in the translucent Blanka, and that in and of itself obviously is an incredibly cool thing. I didn't even realize this figure existed until very recently, probably when we did the glow-in-the-dark action figures list, because I believe the glow-in-the-dark Blanka made that list, partially because he was glow-in-the-dark, very articulated Blanka, great figure, but also because he came with accessories. So he had like glow-in-the-dark slice of watermelon, glow-in-the-dark ice cream, whatever he came with, and so it was neat to see those accessories as glow-in-the-dark pieces. But it was then that I realized that, oh my gosh, there's also a translucent one. Gonna have to get my hands on that at some point. So thank you very much to Charles for taking care of that for me. This thing looks delicious. Made out of just tasty Jolly Ranchers. And I have to say, I'm always expecting translucent figures, especially anything that's not brand new. His hips are a little loose. To be super fragile and just delicate, and you can't move it. But this thing is solid. He's got his alternate fists here. And he's just a chunky, superposable. He's got joints that I've never seen. I've never seen this kind of mid-foot rotation joint here. I love the clawed hands, love the spiked hair, and that's molded in a totally different color. Just a great fun figure. So thank you very much, Charles, for sending that in. Thank you again to JJ, John, James, Adrienne and Son, and Charles. Thank you for hanging out for a few minutes and listening to me talk about toys and stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who are. Wave to all our Patreon supporters as their names scroll by. Head over to patreon.com/toygalaxy if you want to join them. I'll see you later.